Hello and good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We're joined today by Victoria Bates, who's the executive head teacher for Kedleston's ARC Schools. The Kedleston Group is a network of schools across the UK that offers residential schools, specialist education, and other services for youngsters with autism and social, emotional, and mental health problems. Victoria, welcome, and thank you for coming on to share some insight into your work at Kedleston.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me to join you. I'd say good afternoon, but it's good morning with you, I believe.
That's right. Yeah, a little bit of a difference in the hour across the pond. Victoria, I have a few questions because we'd really like some folks to learn more about the work that you do in the schools. So tell us a little bit more about ARC School, Old Arley, the Kedleston Group in general. We have a lot of educators who live and work around the world. We'd love for them to learn more about your model and the specialized services that you provide.
Yeah, of course. So Kedleston Group is an independent provider for pupils with special educational needs. So ARC School, Old Arley, is where I am head teacher. I'm also the executive head teacher over the other 3 ARC schools within the area. We cater for pupils who have a range of needs such as social, emotional, mental health difficulties, autism spectrum conditions, and ADHD, and lots of other complex needs. So we are particularly bespoke, I would say, in terms of what we offer to pupils.
Excellent. We appreciate you giving that overview. And before we jump into the next question, I just want to remind everyone to click on like and subscribe to keep up to date on our latest videos and content from School Rubric, leading voices in education like Victoria from around the world. Let's jump into our next question. I looked at your website the other day and I saw that a lot of students that you serve have social, emotional, and mental health needs such as autism, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, attachment difficulties. Besides more individualized attention and small group sizes, what kind of specialized environments or methodologies do you provide to help support these students and families?
So we're able to work very closely, like you say, with our families and with our pupils. We tailor the provision to meet their particular needs. So like you said, we have small class sizes and additional support, but we also offer a range of other services such as clinical support from OT to speech and language therapy and educational psychology input. And we're able to then put together a package which really supports our pupils individually in terms of how they can meet their academic needs, but also meet their personal and social needs so that they can become lifelong learners and develop the life skills that they need to be successful when they leave us.
Excellent. Yeah, and I know that individualized support, every child is different. So that package that you're talking about and those robust services that you're able to provide are definitely making a huge difference in the lives of students. I want to talk a little bit, Victoria, about the referral process and how that works at your schools. I know it can be really daunting as a parent and even for educators who are in traditional schools that kind of get to the point where they have to refer and recommend students to be placed in a specialized school. What are some of the indicators and processes that you look at and that you follow to ensure that a student is appropriately referred and enrolled at your school?
Yeah, and that's a really vital aspect of it, is making sure that when pupils are referred to us, that their needs are securely met in whichever provision they go to, because a lot of our parents find particularly that their needs have not been able to be met in mainstream schools, which is no fault of the mainstream schools themselves. They just don't have the resources or the means to be able to provide that specialist support. So what happens is that the parents often find that they have concerns around their needs being met. We have what's called an educational healthcare plan, which is a joint plan by all those services. And it tailors the needs, or it identifies those individual needs for those pupils. When they can't be met within their mainstream schools, they then go to their local authorities, and the local authorities refer to a range of providers. The referrals go to our central referral system, and we have colleagues who are referrals managers who then put those referrals towards us as the independent providers, and they look at each of our schools. So our school caters for social, emotional, mental health, where there's another school 5 minutes down the road which is more catering for pupils with ASC. So they will direct the referrals to the school that they believe will be best placed to meet that pupil's needs. We will then have a look through all of the paperwork, have lots of discussions with the parents themselves because they know their children best, and we'll look at whether we are the right provider to meet that pupil's needs, because it's really, really key that if we can meet need, we say yes, but if we feel that we can't, we say no, because you don't want to be able to be in a position where you are setting pupils up to fail. But if we can't as a school, we know that there are plenty of other schools within our group who can, because we all cater for different needs of pupils. So we'll do initial visits. Parents will come and have a look around the school, do a tour, meet and greet. We'll talk about all the wonderful things we have going on, such as our emotional support dogs, our zones of regulation, and how we support the pupils. And then we would, if the parents are comfortable and they want to proceed, we would do a home visit, make sure that the pupils are happy, and put a transition plan in place.
Love everything that you're saying there. And one of the things that really is capturing my attention is how it's almost like a holistic approach, right? How there's so many different stakeholders and folks involved in that entire process. And I also respect the fact that you say, if we can't serve a student, then we let them know, because making that match is just so important to make sure that we set up that student for success and put him or her in the right environment to succeed.
Absolutely. But I think on top of that, not just saying, oh, we can't meet need, but signposting parents to services that really can support their pupils, because this is really key for them. It's not only does it affect the pupils, but it affects the whole family if, they're not getting the education that they deserve and they have the right to.
Absolutely. So let's shift gears a little bit, Victoria. Let's talk a little bit about 2020. I know it's over. I know it's in the books, right? We're all happy to kind of turn the page, but it's also a great opportunity for us to reflect and think about what went right, what went wrong, what we can do differently. I'm curious to know what's your perspective. What has been, from your perspective in Kedleston Group at your school, what are your school's greatest challenges? What are your group's greatest challenges and successes of 2020?
So I think everybody had an incredibly challenging year last year, which is proving to continue to be a bit challenging this year. So initially, obviously, the first lockdown came down for us in March. However, as a specialist provider, all of our pupils are classed as vulnerable because they all have education healthcare plans. So we had to look at how we could tailor a provision for pupils who are comfortable to be on site, plus those that would prefer to be off site. The biggest challenge of it, I suppose, for a lot of our pupils is that they really do find change difficult, and routines and structure are key for them to be able to cope, I suppose, in this type of environment or in the society in general. So, as you and I know, that the recent year has been anything but routine, and there has been significant change. So that's been really difficult for our pupils to manage. So for some of them, they preferred during lockdown to stay at home and learn from home. So we had to put in remote learning really, really quickly to enable all our pupils to access their learning. So although that was incredibly challenging, it's also been one of our biggest successes, because we were able to set up live lessons via Teams and Google Classrooms, and send out paper-based work, and put systems in place to ensure that pupils are still able to make progress.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because, of course, everyone in all schools have been going through some element of remote learning and shutdowns, but knowing a little bit now more about your students and your population and the communities that you serve, I can imagine the difficulties and the challenges that you were confronted with, but to be able to have some success with that is really a testament to you and your team. Let's look forward to 2021 now. We're all looking for creative solutions. We're all looking to turn the page. What kind of exciting initiatives, resolutions, projects does either your school or the Kedleston Group have for the new year?
Yeah, and I think even though, obviously 2021 has been quite challenging in terms of the start, we've gone into another lockdown, and we're rolling out mass testing in the schools. We as providers are just keen to ensure that the quality of what we deliver isn't compromised, and we've got some exciting initiatives planned. So we regularly do whole group competitions for our pupils. So we've currently got a poetry competition running that was started in November and will finish in March. Pupils will be able to get their prizes and have a celebration awards assembly, I suppose, virtual probably in May. So we do try and encourage pupils to carry on with life as much as possible. But across the group itself, Kedleston is constantly looking for improvements and developments, and many of our existing schools are expanding in their sites and their buildings, which is very exciting. And then we're also bringing online some new schools, which is also incredibly exciting. So there is lots going on, which isn't COVID related, which is great.
Yeah, excellent. And I'm so happy to hear about that vision and some of the goals for 2021 and looking forward. Victoria, we really appreciate you spending some time with us today to catch up and share with us some of the great work that you're doing. Victoria Bates again, Executive Head Teacher for Kedleston's ARCS School, located in Warwickshire, England. For more information on the group, you can go to www.kedleston.com or check them out on Kedleston Group on Twitter. Remember to subscribe, follow, and hit that like button for more interviews and conversations with educational leaders with School Rubric and our Vantage Point series. Victoria, best of luck in the first half of 2021. We hope to catch up with you again very soon.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.